This week, Coronation Street has been putting a spotlight on the reality of life with early onset dementia, with Debbie Webster coming to terms with her diagnosis. And latest figures suggest as many as 1 in 3 people born in the UK today will be diagnosed with dementia in their lifetime. So can we do anything to delay it or even prevent it? Well, Professor Tim Spector recently took a blood test to check his risk of developing the condition. And he joins us now. Good morning, Tim. This is such an interesting test. It is available. It's a costly test, and we'll come to that in a second. But it wasn't just for medical or scientific reasons you wanted to do this. There was a personal motivation behind your choices.
That's right, yes. So my mother got a stroke at age 85 and then afterwards developed quite bad dementia, and she's in a home. So had a real personal message for me. In the past, I'd been worried about heart attacks myself. You know, my father died of a heart attack. Now I'm really concerned to try and put off dementia. So when I told my story, this clinic, VRV, got in touch and said, well, we're the only place in the country that's got this test, this very new research test, which doesn't yet really exist anywhere else, that can give you a really precise idea of being high risk or not of Alzheimer's disease. And it's this beta tau test that you can get many years before you've developed any symptoms or anything, which is, the point of that is that you can do something about it. If you'd have the test just before, really, there's very little you can do. But if you'd get it many years before, then there's lots of things people can do to do it. And that's why I did this day, which was a whole series of tests. And in the end, it was good news and bad news, like all of these screening tests. You've got to be quite robust when you go into it. So the good news was I had really low risk for actual Alzheimer's, which is the commonest form of dementia. The blood test was really low, and my gene test for Alzheimer's was low risk. But I did have signs of inflammation and other things that suggested I'd be more at risk of the vascular dementia, which is the less common one. So there were lots of things that I was sort of given to do to optimise for my health, to reduce that inflammation. So, you know, this, for me, it was a positive thing that I could do something, hopefully that, you know, over the next years or decades, it's going to really reduce even further my risk of dementia. And I think this is the point of these tests, is to really alert people that lifestyle is really important. And we don't have blockbuster drugs at the moment, so really we have to rely you know, on doing things ourselves, taking control in a way, and reducing these risk scores, which we know a lot about now.
No, of course. Obviously, this isn't available on the NHS. I mean, I'm guessing we're not close to that being the case, but if you do go to your GP and you have concerns, what can you expect?
Yeah, so if you've got concerns around your memory, your behaviour, your ability to do day-to-day tasks, which are common symptoms of dementia, we would take a full history from you, perhaps run through a memory test. And if we think you've scored highly enough, we'll look for other causes of memory issues like vitamin deficiencies, but we might refer you then to a memory clinic who may then go on to do scans and talk about treatment for dementia if that is what you are diagnosed with.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, recent research has claimed that dementia can, in fact, be delayed or prevented entirely in up to 45% of cases.
Yeah.
And that is all to do with our lifestyle choices. So like you say, Tim, but where do we start with that then? You've been given this result. What do you do now with that information? What can we all do to try and improve our chances?
So there are some things that are outside of our control. Our age, our genetics, our sex. Women are more at risk of dementia as well. But there are things that we can do to help reduce our risk. The first thing I would say is get your hearing checked. Don't wait until you've really lost your hearing. Midlife hearing loss, that's age between 45 and 65, has been associated with a higher risk of dementia. So when your hearing goes down, your brain has to work harder to process speech and noises, and that diverts energy away from other things like memory and thinking. It's also, when you can't hear very well, you retreat from conversations that can link you to loneliness and depression. Both of them increase your risk of dementia. And actually, scans show people with untreated hearing loss have higher levels of brain shrinkage in areas associated with memory and processing as well. So this is a bit of a call to arms. If you're 45 plus, you should really have your hearing checked. And take the stigma away from wearing hearing aids. If you need a hearing aid, there's some trendy ones available now. You can get them, and it can significantly reduce reduce your risk of dementia.
And incredibly discreet.
Yes.
It's not what we think they used to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, you won't be able to see them.
And it's such a game changer, isn't it, on many, many levels. And we talk about crosswords and doing these sort of mind puzzle type things. Where do you stand with that, Tim?
Well, the latest evidence shows that, exercise is important. And yes, exercising your body and increasing your muscle mass will reduce your risk of dementia quite considerably. But we mustn't forget that in addition to that exercising your brain is also important because it's like a muscle that if you're not using it, there's less of it. And the more you've got, the more you can reduce, the problems of dementia. So doing the same crossword or wordle every day doesn't seem to be as good as we thought. There have been some studies showing that doesn't work. Whereas if you're using all different parts of your brain, such as learning a new language or learning a new dance move or a musical instrument or even reading a book, which actually trigger all kinds of bits of your brain, that is really good for your reducing your risks. So tell people to do that. And diet, of course, is the other. Not surprising me telling you that diet is going to be good for you, but
good gut health, Tim.
The data is overwhelming. People on poor diets with obesity, diabetes, they've got 4 times the risk of dementia. And you can reduce it considerably. Even too much, just reducing the ultra-processed foods that you're eating, cutting those down, will reduce your inflammation, which is a key factor in driving all these things and why we're getting this epidemic of it. So gut-friendly foods, more plants, more diversity, more fermented foods, the usual stuff I'm talking about for your gut health, that all works to prevent dementia as well.
Of course it does. And this gadget.
Yes.
I recognise it, my parents have one, and this is one that you recommend we should have at home.
I would say every person over the age of 40 should be checking their blood pressure regularly at home. Good blood pressure improves blood flow to the brain, reduces your risk of dementia. Buy one of these from your chemist. It can cost about 15 quid. Check your blood pressure, maybe once or twice a week if it's normal. Sit down or relax for 30 minutes, check it then. Do it morning and evening, vary it throughout the week. It's the average reading you're interested in, not just one-off readings.
Yeah.
And if your average readings are high, speak to your doctor about managing your blood pressure. But this could be a lifesaver.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Amir. Tim, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Looking for more health and wellness content? There's plenty more right here on our channel. How about you check out this one?